this new episode of our L-DIH Talks 2024 edition. This webinar will be dedicated to low and no code in manufacturing. So first of all, I propose a little bit of, that's the traditional slides about housekeeping and how to use our platform and our tools. First of all, you have to know that this webinar is recorded and a replay will be available on the Lux Innovation YouTube channel. Then about how to use the tools for the interactivity with me and our speakers. You have on the left of the screen a discussion tab. That's where you will talk about general aspect, let's say, for example, a bit of presentation of yourself. Then you'll have a tab dedicated to the questions that you will have to me, or mainly to the speakers during the session. And for those of you who are regulars to this webinar, today we're testing a new way of interacting with our speaker. And this time, your question will be collected throughout the session. And after the last presentation, we'll bring all the speakers together for a discussion during which we'll deal with all the questions and comments that you will fire through this dedicated tab. I insist on that. And the last tab is the polls tab. You'll see that during the session, we'll bring a bit of interactivity between the speaker and you, but I will not spoil you on that. So, yeah, technology is the answer, but by the way, what's the question? I'm designing solutions for manufacturing companies. It often requires multiple teams, including IT specialists, which can lead to inefficiencies and distract employees for their main tasks. Business struggles too often with too many tools, making it hard to find necessary data for their daily job. According to studies, 70% of global employees waste up to 20 hours a week searching for data and appropriate tools to make their job. Despite the need of digitization, many organizations can't afford to focus on developing new digital tools. And what's more, 80% of companies cannot attract and or retain the software engineers they need. So low and no-code platforms and tools offer a solution by enabling the rapid development of software applications without the need of, let's say, advanced programming knowledge. For manufacturers, typically, this means they can innovate, adapt, and transform their processes without diverting IT and software specialists from their core responsibilities. Without further ado, let's dive into the topic. And with these three speakers for today, we'll share with us use cases as impactful as they are inspiring, trust me. There's no doubt that all of you who have the digitization of manufacturing companies at heart will find plenty of food for thought in their presentations. First, let's welcome Christian Michel. He's the founder and CEO of Visua, specialized in secure no-code digital solutions. With an executive MBA from HEC Paris, he discovered no-code during a digital transformation course at Berkeley. Christian, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nicolas. So let's have a start on this very nice topic. That and I thank you, the Lux Innovation team, to welcome me today and the other speakers. The point is the following. I discovered, as you said, in Berkeley a few years ago, the no-code solution. It was pretty exciting when I heard it from other students, because I'm not a developer. I'm not an engineer. I'm a business owner for years and running companies. And then I discovered tools I could use myself or introduce in my teams very easily to solve daily problems and so on. And that's why I created this company now. That is not the topic of this morning, but that is helping other companies. So, wait, so I clicked on the wrong place. So more or less, the business needs are around interacting with customers, reducing low-value tasks, automating processes, getting back data from the machines, from the systems, from the customer, from the ERP system, brings them together, analyze, and so on. And it's pretty heavy, and as you said, there's a shortness of developers on the marketplace. I'm just always clicking on my tag. So that's a forecast from Gartner a few years ago. So they said by 75% of digital will be done with no-code tools in the coming years, let's say 25 or 26, it doesn't matter a lot. Just it means it's really a very strong move and not something a hype of the moment. It's really in depth, and many very well-known companies are already using those tools. The point is also, I will speak about no-code in a few seconds and how it works and what we can do. But the point is also, and I had to go a bit further, AI is also disrupting the whole market. And somewhere, when you begin to plug together no-code tools that give you an incredible freedom, and you add AI to it, it's another bunch of results and solution you will get. So in short, for the ones who never heard about no-code and so on, I put just some names on the page because there are now several hundred tools of it. If you have to remind something about what it is, it's a visual interface. So let's say you use PowerPoint and you draw a square and you move the square with your mouse, and then in the background, it becomes code and tells the software where the square is, the size of the square of the box, the color of the box, and so on. So it means in the front, you don't pay attention that it's becoming code in the background. And that is the point that it allows many companies now to use those kind of tools. So I've put some names on the page. Probably you use already some like Canva or so for your daily presentation. TimeTonic or Airtable are more database management tools I use in my daily life. Zapier and Make are connectors. Webflow, WordPress are very well known. WordPress is one of the leaders to make internet sites and so on. That is a front end to visualize data at the front. So you can make sites, but you can make many things. So if you look TimeTonic, Zapier, and WordPress, for example, you have a database management tool, a front end tool, WordPress, and maybe Zapier or Make as connectors to bring them together. And at the top, I've also added Bubble, WeWeb, or Adalo, for example, that are no-code tools to build full apps. Let's say you want to do Airbnb, for example, or do it by yourself. You could do with Bubble, for example, Airbnb. I did it as a game in one of my presentations. So it really is very powerful tools, not only tools for MVPs and small prototypes and so on. No, you can go and really build something very strong with those tools in your company. And if I look on the marketplace, companies like LVMH, Danone, Total, or Pricewaterhouse are using those tools today because they know that they're heavy, they're not very agile. So they let their team use this kind of tools, build projects, side projects, and when it's mature, then they integrate it in their own structure. So in the meantime, probably you saw the different points I also wrote on the left. Those tools is drag and drop, visual, connectable, so you can connect to almost the whole world of solution, AI, other tools, brings them together for new solution you couldn't imagine before. And as I thought, it's without coding, but it's still code. So in the background, it's code, and it's something very strong and interesting. So in a few seconds, what is an automation? An automation is automating a process so that is repetitive. So if you want to generate a report every day, you will build an action with a trigger to make this happen. By the way, trigger has only one R. You can, by this way, send mails, collect data, inform customers, send reports, compile in data, analyze, and so on. The interest of those tools, those no-code tools, is the time to market, because the agility is very, very heavy. Where a project could use maybe 1 or 2 years with regular code development, you may do it with a few months, half a year, 1 month, depending on the size of the projects and the needs. So it means very fast you can do something. And by the way, you can make an iteration. You can copy and paste a project and do a second version to try something else. You can, so as I said, do A/B testing. You can go for scalability, grow with it. So many no-code tools can bring you to millions of data, bring you really in front of your project and testing. And I wrote the last one, pivoting or errors. Yeah, you will see also if you make an error, you can correct it very easily or pretty easily yourself or with your teams to make something different or adapt to customer needs and so on. Now, I say one of the issue, and that's the angle I talk in this presentation, is the time aspect, because we could say a lot about no code. It's really faster. So I would say in average it's 3 times faster, but sometimes you could say 4 to 10 times faster. So it means very, very easily in 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, you can make incredible things to do it. And it's still time to code it in traditional coding if needed later, but many companies not necessarily need it. So you can plug extension, artificial intelligence, you can plug other tools, weather reports, data analytics, plug it to Google tools. And so it's really pretty incredible. And as you said before at the start, Nicola, there's a shortage of developers and so on the market. And with this kind of tools, you can then do it by yourself a lot faster, and then keep your developer for higher value tasks that are more interesting. So, and of course, most of them are on the cloud, so you can work with them. I will not go in this presentation about GDPR, about connection and so on, but I push now mainly French tools or European tools for sovereignty aspects. Where I plug. So what can you do with this kind of tools? Business application, codes, invoices, mobile application. It can be something for the end customer. So a loyalty program, for example, or on the other side, you can have a tool for your own teams to go in the field, to go in the construction field, and then integrate data, upload. They will be automatically uploaded to your servers, and then in real time, you have your company working. I will give you a few examples. So that's pretty a lot of things you probably read through while I was speaking, but building custom-made dashboards and so on is really very interesting. And I wrote ERPs. Usually it's very heavy solutions that are on the marketplace, disrupting very often pretty lots of the companies. And with this kind of tools, you build somewhere your own custom-made ERPs fitted to your needs, and you avoid everything that is not needed, so you really build something for the right thing. Also, I had, so in different fields, I gave you 3 or 4 different. A real estate company that was losing 1 hour a day, collecting information from the B2C customers to fill reports and so on, and track if they want to buy a real estate, I forgot the name, never mind. To do this, the secretary was losing 1 hour a day. With this, we did formulas. The data was coming from the customers themselves, and there were automation to remind 1 week later the customer with a letter, with a mail to tell them you have to decide within 10 days if you go for the project or not. And so that was avoiding a lot of time and stress for this lady. And on the side, the sales team could focus on the customer who was still existent. The cleaning company is the same kind of point. They had ladies doing cleaning in houses, and once a month bringing back the information to the office. So only at the end of the month, handwritten papers, and then 4 days long they were entering all the data, making the invoices, sending the invoices. 2 weeks later, in the 2 weeks, collecting money and paying at the end their ladies. So if you consider this, it's difficult to recruit. Having people paid the 15th of the next month is pretty critical. So in this case, they saved 4 days collection data. On the other side, they also saved time to pay earlier their ladies. That's probably the biggest issue I see in this case. In two different fields. I took an industrial welding company. They were doing for 40 years everything on Excel. I mean, most of us, we do with Excel, including in very big companies. They have very large customers. They do big pipes with a lot of welding on it for many fields. And they were doing everything by hand. And their big customers were asking for more information from them, faster, with quality and so on. And it took days to give information. Now with automation and so on, every welding that was done was compiled automatically in real time with the person who did the welding, all information about quality and so on. I mean, it's a very interesting project, but this morning I don't have the time to do it. The photovoltaic one is a bit different. Okay, I see you, Nicolas, you are there in 2 minutes. Photovoltaic is also pretty interesting because they have a heavy project management activity over 1.5 years for a full project. So following the steps and so on is pretty hard. So having this kind of tool is incredible. So I have to speed up. So the database management, custom views, forms, calendar, Kanban, Gantt. You can do everything, all those kind of stuff for yourself. And it's everything in your pocket. So in the past, you were all fixed to your company. Now you can do it with your smartphone or tablet. So I just gave you the name. Bubble is one of the leaders to make real apps. So before it was automate, more or less automation, no code. Bubble is to build full apps with it, but I cannot go for it this morning. So going back a bit further, going to artificial intelligence, that you cannot avoid today. It's really coming together. It's a combo, AI and no code come together, and it makes a lot more. So you have use cases in many domains. It goes from welcoming customers, generating, of course, text, resume, and translation and so on. We are pretty used to it with ChatGPT and this kind of tools. But you can also do product configurators, analyze of sales, make call bots. I mean, it's really incredible everything you can do. But it's not only making LinkedIn posts. That's just a very small part of it. And of course, what is interesting is plugging it together brings you to really very new cases. I have today a customer that is an airspace company who has 30,000 documents, their own documents, and they want to search inside with a super search engine. And so we are building an AI that is a RAG solution, built on their own documents, searching inside, writing answers with a high quality, and it's private. It's just for their own private use. That's just an example among plenty that are rising now. The sectors active are commerce, industry, banking. It's very wide. I know this morning we are more focused on industry and so on, but really in all those topics you can have things. For example, real estate can welcome customers in the evening, begin to make a pre-sales, identify the needs, the budget, and then maybe send a meeting invitation for next day with a salesman, for example. That's all saving for the companies. So I think I'm splitting time. I have 30 seconds left. If you scan later, you can scan this and you see a small demonstration of an AI speaking about projects. So I just put 3 questions on it. And on visual, you have the person speaking and can ask questions and so on. That's it. That's really probably another topic for Nicolas. But AI is really coming in, and you plug AI on your data, and it brings completely new information.
Yeah, thanks, Christian. Thanks a lot. And definitely AI and how it's used in this context. That's something that we could discuss at the end of the session with the other speakers. Thanks again, Christian. So now let's welcome Johan. He's the co-founder and managing partner of Diligent, consulting firm specializing in low-code and no-code technology, where it provides strategic consulting, architectural design, and development services to clients. Johan, welcome.
Thank you, Nicholas. It didn't start in the right slide. Sorry for that. So as Nicholas said, I am João Carreiro, and I'm the co-founder and partner at Diligent. And I would like to start this presentation by sharing with you how I got introduced to low-code. So back in 2013, when I was finalizing my master's degree in electrical and computer science engineering, I was used to use and to work with robotics, telecommunications, control and automation. So I was used to write several hundreds of rows of code in order to achieve a solution to a problem. And then I had the opportunity to start my career working with low code. So surprisingly as it seems, back in 2013, I attended to a boot camp of 1 week only. And after that, I was able to create applications from scratch, create complex business logic, and also integrate with external systems in a matter of minutes. So it was a completely game changer for me. And after that week, I started right away into a project. Of course, at that time, I was just performing simple things, but then I was evolving at a pace that it was nothing compared to other technologies careers. And the proof of that is that after 6 to 7 months, I started and I got assigned to a project to build applications from scratch to a electrical power plant to hold and to manage a system that it was managing the operations, the day-to-day operations in those power plants. That was really, really amazing because I just had a few months of experience. And also the fact is that they used it for several years. So it was also built for the future. And that's the magic of low code. But I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to talk about low code in the manufacturing industry. So I would like to share with you the story of Walter. Walter is the head of IT, workplace and services at Infineon. For those who don't know, Infineon Technologies is a German semiconductor manufacturer, and they have more than 1,400 people working in their IT department. Okay, now you can think about like, okay, yeah, but this doesn't resonate with me because I don't have such a huge IT department. But I would challenge you to take a look into the problems that Walter was facing and to see if it resonates with you. And actually, Nicholas just put a poll in order for you to start answering the questions about this. So Walter was seeing that regardless of the amount of people that he had in their IT, the IT was always being seen as a bottleneck. It was too slow, and it was not keeping the pace that the business requirements needed. On the other hand, legacy systems were really hard to maintain and very costly to maintain either. And I think I know, or I think you know, all these kind of stories because I've also experienced with the companies that I worked with and the companies that I worked for, that there is always that specific system that holds a huge and important process that it's only relying in 1 or 2 people. And that's a huge risk for the business. The third, and not less important, it was finding talent. Because nowadays, in order for you to build applications, there are so many technologies. Then you need like people with different backgrounds, different skill sets, and it's really hard to keep up with it. Also enabling them in different technologies, but also to retain them, as Nicholas mentioned in the beginning. So what Walter and his team thought about, there should be a better way. So they thought about low code. And with low code, its promise is that it will bring speed, flexibility, and agility to the software development. So they went for it. And they gave it a try. But however, in the beginning, they started slowly. They only built 4 proofs of concept in 6 months. Even though in the meantime, they were creating a center of excellence, they decided to move and to hold the platform in-house, on premises. And of course, this has impact. And they were being judged because of the risk of the change that they were applying. And of course, we are always afraid of changing. But sometimes change is less riskier than to not change at all. And by that, they were creating the foundations to low code to prosper, not in short term, but in the future and in the long term. That was their goal. They believed in their vision. And the outcome of that is that they started working with the OutSystems platform, the low-code platform, in 2022. And in the end of 2023, and I'm sharing the data that is publicly available, they had gone live with more than 40 applications, some of them modernizing and even replacing legacy systems. They had more than 200 applications under development, and they had more than 180 people working in low code. Also because the Center of Excellence was a basis to not only to implement applications and to deliver software, but mainly to onboard other departments to create their own responsibilities by allowing them to create applications in the low-code platform. So they were enablers. They were the ones providing training. And also a rough estimate, because this is always harder to quantify, but they believe that they were able to deliver applications with a 33% faster time to market, with the need of only 2/3 of the people compared to traditional technologies. So they were delivering faster than ever. But now I go into specific use cases for you to relate a little bit more with Walter's journey. So nowadays, the topic of the day, Nicolas mentioned it, Michelle mentioned it. So regarding the Gen AI, when we look into GPTs, they are really powerful. And when we think about them, they don't bring exactly the user interface that we need. So they thought about this as an amazing possibility for low code, because it would be just a matter of integrating with an external system and creating a modern and a great user experience. So they went for the low code approach, and they were able to build their internal corporate chatbot in a matter of 2 weeks with 1.5 developer, which is currently being used by 2,000 daily users. And they are even launching new versions every 2 weeks, because as you know, the models and everything, they are coming at a quick pace. So they are just trying and finding out what are the best modules. So they just populated the GPT with their information, and they created this chatbot in order to be able, for the people to be able to interact with the chatbot instead of finding the information in several documents. you can also take a look into this, and of course, possibly it's not your use case, but you can think about it in different channels, such as email, creating an app for this, adding features to your own apps, and make the difference leveraging Gen AI with low code. Going to the next use case is about the Excel file. Michelle already mentioned it, and I know, and we all know, that regardless of the size of the organization, there is always an Excel file, if not plenty of Excel files, that are managing really important processes, really important projects sometimes. And I would like to share with you the story of Mario, who is a senior manager in production and facility at Infineon, that he was the one coordinating this work, and he was the one managing this Excel file, with around 50 people having access to this Excel file, inserting their data. Also, Mario was making sure that everything was good to go, making sure that the Excel file was clean, but he was also struggling with the poor data validation, the data consistency and its quality. He also struggled with the lack of historical and communication tracking, because when you look into Excel, if there are many people working in the same Excel, communication, different cells, then it will have an impact on who changed what. And also the communication, because the communication was always being taken out of the Excel file, and the user access rights, of course. So what they did, with low code, they created an app in 2 months with just 2 developers, managing these more than 700 entries per year. And this made it easier for them to define the proper access rights by the personas identified. So anyone that goes into the application knows exactly what can be seen, what to take action on. They've also implemented audit logs, so creating responsibility and having that possibility to see who changed what and when. And also the communication channel, because any communication that it is important for the decision process, then it is stored in the application itself. And it was also created a dynamic back office, that it was for the application to be future proof, meaning that you can configure all the things in the back office in order to make it more dynamic, and no changes of code are needed when the communications or when the configuration changes. And just to finalize, I would just like to leave you with this quote by Oren Harari, which is, "The electric light did not come from the continuous improvement of candles." And for me, this sentence shows that sometimes it is needed a paradigm shift in order for you to achieve greater goals. And I would like for you to keep that there is a better way to deliver software. Thank you. Thank you, Nicholas and Joe, for the opportunity, and to the Lux Innovation and the other speakers, of course.
Thank you very much, Joe. That was great, and combined with the other speaker, for sure, it will bring us some food for thought for the discussion at the end. And now let's give the floor to Jérémy Jean. And with 13 years of experience in several industries, mainly in operational positions, Jérémy is the founder and partner of Control C, a Luxembourgish solution factory that uses low and no code to optimize workflows and to eliminate basically all the actions that don't bring value to the businesses. Jérémy, welcome. And
thank you. Welcome. Well, thank you for the invitation. It was actually 2 first very nice presentation, and I think that mine, without being aligned with the previous speakers, will be quite complementary. So that's actually quite nice. So a few words before about Control C. So, as you said, I founded the company in 2021 in Luxembourg. So we are now 10 consultants in Luxembourg working on various project size and different industries, because as the other speakers said, it can cover many different use cases. And I wanted today to really focus and show you some real use cases that we've built at some of our customers. Also, we are really trying to be very iterative, and we are actually going on site to the customers to do a side-by-side development approach, meaning that we are really working together with the business to build the best app for them. Also, one specificity is that we are tool agnostic, meaning that we have several, let's say, no-code tools in our toolbox, and depending on the size of the project, on the company, on the budget, and so on, we will choose one or the other tool. Okay, so we're actually defining, as you said, Nicholas, in the introduction, we are defining our mission. Trying to save time, save money, and build digital solution with low and no code technologies. Low and no code, if you're searching for those keywords on Google, and I did a job like 6 months ago when I was presenting another presentation, and today, and within 6 months, we got like 25% more results from Google. It means that a lot of companies, a lot of projects are using those terms. So it actually covers quite a wide range of tools, of functions, and so on. So I won't go into this debate of what is it and what's the difference between low and no code, but at least I will try to show you which kind of projects we can handle with those technologies. And I try to split those projects into three big types. The first type is being able to deal with an isolated process. So something that is very, let's say, simple to handle in a very simple setup with a limited integration with other system. This is most of the time where we start within a company, because we're trying to solve a very specific issue that takes time, that could save a lot of time and money. Those are most of the time, I would say, quick win projects with a very interesting return on investment. The second type is building some solutions, some applications around an existing ERP. I named here the ERP, but it could be any kind of other, let's say, main system within a company. So in that case, we will build strong integration with this central system, being able to extend it with some functionality, and also push the technical limitation, because sometimes we are limited by the technology, by the hardware, and so on. And low and no code can help you to get rid of those limits. And also, the idea is always to make the process simpler and more efficient to improve the efficiency. And the last type of project, and I forgot to mention, I will present here a Luxembourgish company, some two use cases that we have over there at B Medical Systems. So I guess a few of you already know about that company located in Nozingen, and we'll present two use cases. Last type of project is low and no code project as main and central system. Okay, so in that case, and as Christian said in his presentation, this could definitely help you to build your own ERP system. And we'll take the case of Cocotte, where today they have they made their own ERP system with us on a no-code platform, and this platform handles quite a lot, almost all of their processes. Okay, so let's dig into the first type of project. Isolated process. So in that case, I don't know if you see quite well, but it was a project we did last year. A prospect asked us if we could digitalize some tasks that are done by a mechanic in a garage. So you see on the right side the sheet of paper that is actually scanned. So when we started the project, our solution was quite simple. We said, okay, very simple. We're going to take the exact same structure and we are going to build a very simple application for a tablet or a phone. The customer told us, no, it's never going to work like this because the mechanic, they have their hands dirty. They don't want to use any kind of digital solution. So can you do something with the existing process of writing, checking in the columns if the repair is done or not? So what we did is we took that scan and we used some OCR and some AI technologies to read the document. And it's actually working much more efficient than expected, especially today with the OpenAI vision model. It's actually working very, very well. It's actually read the documents and you can retrieve all the information, even the handwritten sentence and comment can be retrieved, they can translate them and so on directly. So the process today is actually very simple because at the end of the day, the mechanic just drop the sheet of paper into the scan, and then from there, everything is 100% automated. So the scan is gone into the scanner, it's dropped automatically into a shared folder, it goes into this application where we call some external services for the OCR, for the AI, and so on. And only if there is a mismatch or something not going properly, that can happen because something didn't work as expected. It's today 5% of the case. Then a mail is sent and a human action is required. So someone needs to log onto the platform and do the manual check. So it's actually facilitated because you have on the right the PDF, on the left you have what has been read by the system, and you can compare, you can check or change the recognition. So this process is more or less 100% automated today for this customer. Very simple example here to avoid someone typing back into the system what has been done or not and a different comment. Now let's go into the example for a system or an applications around the ERP. So here we are talking about B-Medical system, and to give you a bit more context, the ERP system there is installed locally with a database which is on-prem. This ERP is, I won't say it's quite old, but at least it doesn't have any mobility app like no phone or tablet applications. It has only a Windows app you need to open from a desktop, and it has no, let's say, well-documented APIs. So basically what we did is we used an automation tool to create and to interact with this database, and we used OutSystem, a low-code platform, to build some application on top of it. Okay, here is a very, very simple application to do some stock movement. So imagine before the people needed to go onto their computer to do a stock movement because you don't have any mobility application. And here we did it very, very, very simple. So you can scan the barcode, then it query the on-prem database, you get the list of the stock, then you can start your movement from there and do the entire workflow and interact with the database. So it's actually one of the most ugliest application I've built, but it's a working one. And when something is working, please don't touch it. And it's actually working nice. It's a couple of days of development for something very, very simple. A second example here is, again, B-Medical system is a compliance approval application. So when B-Medical was purchased by Azenta I think it was more or less more than a year ago, we were asked to build some compliance checks and some approval steps on purchase order. Okay, so today the flow remained the same on the ERP side. So the buyer is creating a purchase order, and then it sends that to another platform to follow an approval workflow. So depending on some criteria like the amount or the type of purchase order or any specific information in the PO, it will follow one specific flow. Like, for example, if it reaches a certain threshold, it needs to go to the CFO or the head of purchasing and so on. So depending on the amount, it will create all the workflow for this purchase order, and everybody at each level needs to validate this workflow, this purchase order. At the end of this first part of the approval, there is a compliance check. The compliance is actually not really, they don't actually care about the amount or what's within the PO. They care about who are you going to work with, so which company do you want to purchase from. And in order to deal with that, we created some integration with third-party solution. Those solutions, they have APIs. We are calling those APIs to, for example, ask, is it safe to make some business with these suppliers? And as an answer, we receive some hits. If a hit is found, it means that there should be a manual action. Okay, so in that case, again, someone human from the compliance team is connecting. He will check the hits, and the flow will follow depending of the decision. So if everything is okay, the PO is released and it continues into the system. And if it's blocked, then the third party is blocked, the PO is blocked, and you cannot do anything on that anymore. So it was the second type of project. Last type of project is building a low no-code solution as a main system. So here we are talking about Cocotte. So when we started the Cocotte projects 2 years ago, there was absolutely nothing in terms of digital solution. So we divided the very big projects in different work packages. These are more or less what you see here because it has changed also in the meantime. But we started to build the master data. These are the transversal data used in all the others applications. So we started from the Excel because it's always about Excels, and we transferred that into a very complex item composition flow where you can define really all the sublevels and all the composition of each item. And those master data are used in all the different work packages that you see here. So everything related to the management of one point of sales, the production and the planning. You can do all the planning, the supply and demand there. One very useful one was the supply and stock management, because they were a bit afraid of starting labeling all their goods when they were doing the reception. And we did it we made it as simple as possible. So, for example, we used the ADI from La Provençale to get all the lot number, the limit dates, and so on. And so once they are receiving something from this supplier, then everything is already prepared because you know what you're going to receive. You just need to print the label and make some verification. But it's very, very easy because you don't need to type again the limit dates and so on. So what is important to understand in this overall project is that it's a step-by-step approach. It won't be possible to do that in one step. You really take times, and it's a very iterative process. You always need to keep it very simple as much as possible. What we do, as I said in the introduction, is we do a side-by-side dev. So we really go there on site, talk with the cook, talk with the guy at the receptions, try to find solution. And it's very important that this system is now a support for innovation because it's flexible and you can handle lots of different process around. And last week, Cocotte won the Prix de l'innovation dans l'artisanat for this specific system. So for us, it's also a very important recognition of the work. So thanks for your attention. And yeah, if you have any question, you can drop them into the chat.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you. And thanks also for the transition, I would say. So now we bring back all our dear speakers on stage and to start basically a bit of conversation. So first question, in order to warm up, let's say, is something for Christian. And Johan, are you here? Yes, perfect. So Christian, there is Kartik who first.
I read the question.
Yeah, okay.
And he was asking for the welding company how the initial data was entered in the system.
Data is entered in the system.
In the whole project, we uploaded the whole database that was already existing, so to populate the project. But then in this case, the final workers doing the welding were just putting on the paper the old way and information. They had the job to do. They were just making process and information about what they were doing, giving back to their chief, and then it was entering in the system. In other cases, I have people using tablets or smartphones or with a simple link. But in this case, the initial point was all the way, but it's an industry and sometimes it's needed. And just by the way, and I won't be long, but in other cases, you may have QR codes about how the job is doing. You just scan the code to confirm the stage of something, especially in aviation. It's pretty common.
Perfect. I hope that Kartik is happy with your question. Yeah, there is no other. Just let me check. Yeah, there is Ivan who is asking how have low and low-code, no-code tools improve the customer experience. Yeah, very interesting. So we discussed a lot about how it is welcome, let's say, into the business, but regarding the customer, is there a gain? Is there something? Is there an impact that will allow him to clearly see that there is an improvement brought by these technologies? I don't know, Johan.
Yeah, I can go on that one. I'm sure that Jeremy has also something to add, but yeah, definitely it improves the user experience. And by improving the user experience, what it means is that it will improve the customer experience if it is a customer-facing application. What happens is that it is easier to build like standard applications, but then you can also go into the details of the CSS, like technical things. But if you can create everything customized to the last pixel, so you can also take advantage of that in order to create a modern user experience and also to interact with your end users in the best way possible. Tailor-made, which is also making the difference.
Clear. Thank you. Guys, is there someone who wants to add something?
Maybe I can add something to what has been said, but for us, it's also, as we are building the application directly with the final users, we clearly see that the adoption is really high because they are feeling like it's their own tool. I mean, it's like your baby. So the adoption is really high, and as those tools are all of them quite flexible, it's always easier to move something. I mean, I'll take some very simple example to change the button from the top to the bottom of the screen, because when you are doing the job, you are there with your mouse and it's easier to do it like this, or to add a confirmation button or whatever because you deleted something. So it's not only about UI, it's really about UX and how the users are using it. And for us, what we see is clearly the adoption is really, really high because they are doing it actually. Yeah.
They see that there is that all of this is done for their benefits, and the reactivity it provides demonstrates clearly that it comes this direction. So yeah, that brings me to another question, and this time I will do the bad cop, let's say, but that's pretty connected to the previous one. So regarding the, let's call them the traditional IT, ICT specialist or expert, are you in a kind of concurrency with them? How do they welcome you and the technology that you promote? Is this nice, or is there sometimes some kind of friction, let's say, between you?
Yeah,
Who starts? Okay, maybe I start.
You can start.
When I started 4 or 5 years ago with no code, I had really the feeling it was first thing not well known, so I was speaking a bit alone, some in my corner, and somewhere it was the small code. On the other one, we're doing the big code, and there was kind of you can not do big projects, something serious, scalable, and so on with no code or low code tools. And now it's proving you can do it. And very early I was convinced you can do it, but there was kind of a bit not fight, but differences. Where what I said in the presentation, I really think there's a shortage of developers, and it's good if they can focus on much more interesting projects at doing smaller things somewhere where they have more value to bring to the company. And that's something also important. And maybe my last point, and I will switch to the others. Somewhere no code and low code tools are very accessible somewhere. So you have also many developers that are not initially developers who joined this. So they're not schooled like traditional code developers. And somewhere the best no-code developers are the ones who were former developers in code, because they have the agents, they know what a database is, a structure, workflows. And when they move to no-code, they are very fast and very efficient to do projects and so on. So somewhere that's it. And with AI, it's also maybe complicated for developers.
Thank you very much, Christian. Sorry, I'm a little bit pushy, but there is some very interesting question that just appeared. So I propose you a very quick exercise. In the case study, you showed who developed the app. It's a question from Daniel. So I propose that you three guys are answering this question, but very briefly, saying, okay, most time of the part I'm doing it by myself, or I can onboard, let's say, some internal people. So Jeremy, for example.
Yeah. So in most of the cases, it's us who are developing, really doing the dev for very technical reasons, like, for example, building the data model, building all the logics. What the customer can take on and take over is some part of the development, like the most visual part. I won't say that it's the less complex, but it's not really impacting all the technical stuff that are happening behind. We also see that some...
Jeremy, for a very, very short answer, because actually there is other also, and we will not have the time to...
No, yeah, I can go next, Nicholas, and I think that I will answer also another question.
No, there is no time left. So
okay.
What I promise to you and to our dear guest and audience is that we will take care of all the questions that has been asked, and for sure we'll create a kind of email loop in which you'll be able to interact. My promise. And sorry guys, that's already time for us to close this session. So big shout out to all of you. Thanks for your reactivity. Thanks for having played the game of being so constrained by the time. And that's very important for me. I've got a very last slide. If my dear colleague could put it widescreen, thank you. It's about our next DIH events. That's very important for us, that you remain aware of what we are doing and what we propose. So you'll see here 4 interesting events, online or physical, that will take place in the coming months only. So don't hesitate to register, to come and say hello to us during this session. It will be our pleasure, and you could always stay connected with us via the dih.lu/events webpage. So all great things come to an end, and now I would like to thank you, all of you, the speaker for sure, but also the audience, for the very interesting question, and be sure that we will do our best to keep the momentum alive and to keep the discussion alive. So thank you very much. Have a great Friday afternoon and a sunny weekend. See you.